Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Airborne Podcast. I'm your host Ajit, and we're going to switch it up today. We are not starting this episode by talking about the Toronto Raptors. Yes, you heard me correctly. We are going to go around the NBA and see what trends are popping. And to start things off, what better way than to talk about both teams in LA? That's right, the Clippers and Lakers are both off to a hot start. And Kawhi Leonard, although he's taken about I'd say 6 to 7 games off already. They've played. I mean, him and PG have played together for the last 2 games, I believe, against Boston and against Houston, and they're looking good. As for the Lakers, AD has been out for I think a game or so. Yeah, a game or two, and they're looking really good right now. Both teams look like they're on a collision course to get to the Western Conference Finals, and that is must-see TV because every NBA fan wants to see that and wants to see who comes out of the Western Conference Finals to get to the finals between LeBron and Kawhi. Because a lot of people have crowned Kawhi to be the best player in the NBA right now after his finals run last season with the Toronto Raptors. I always find a way to put the Raptors in this topic. But with Kevin Durant out, Kawhi was the one to come on top last season, and he has the crown, and LeBron has to take it from him because LeBron unfortunately didn't make the playoffs last season with his groin injury and the team going downhill. But yeah, the Lakers and the Clippers look really good, and for the Clippers, what can I say? I mean, they've been clutch these last 2 games, and um, in like tight games with 3 points or less, they've come on top. Lou Will, in both games against Boston and Houston, they were down with like a couple minutes to go, and they went on a run. And who other than Lou Will to come through in the fourth quarter or in overtime and hit those clutch baskets to take the lead for both games. And he looks like he could be the best sixth man to come off the bench of all time. I'm not even playing with you guys. He has been nothing but spectacular. And, he had a good run with the Raptors when he was on our team in 2015 when he won his first Sixth Man of the Year award. But he looks like he's playing a lot better than then. Because at that time, I believe he was coming off an ACL injury, and now he's 5 years removed from that. So, I mean, he looks good. And it's crazy how he thought that he was going to retire, or he wanted to retire, because after he got traded from Houston, to the Clippers, he thought that he didn't have a stable home, and he doubted himself, but he's found a home in LA, and now he's good to go. And that team has 3 clutch players on it when it comes to crucial times, in Kawhi, PG-13, and Lou Will. Shout out to Kendrick Perkins, by the way. He shouted out the Raptors on the Inside the Green Room podcast. And he was talking about how he still thinks the Raptors are going to come out of the East, which is crazy. Very very optimistic, wishful thinking, to be honest, because I know we have Pascal and he's emerging as our first option, but I don't know, against Philly and Milwaukee, we got to see how it goes. We've only played Milwaukee once, and we're going to play Philly on Monday, and that's going to be a serious test for us to see where we stand in the Eastern Conference. And shout out to, thoughts and prayers go to Kemba Walker. He had a head injury, and he almost messed up his neck, but thankfully everything came back clean, so he should be fine. He might be out for a few games, though, so that might, Boston's been off to a hot start, but that might bring them down a bit. And I think they lost about 2 or 3 games recently. So I know they had the best record in the NBA just about a week ago, but they've come back to reality. MVP race. Right now, it looks like there's 5 top candidates, and LeBron in his 17th year is looking better than ever. With the help of AD, he looks amazing, and playing the point guard position definitely is helping him a lot. Although he doesn't like handling the ball all the time, he still has Rondo there to help him. Whether he comes off the bench or not, Rondo's always going to be there to be another facilitator for that team. But LeBron looks like, with averaging double-digit assists, he looks like he's going to win the MVP award for the 5th time in his career. But the 5 guys that look like they have a realistic opportunity to win it is Giannis, LeBron, Luca, Kawhi Leonard, and James Harden. Of course, he's been on James Harden's been on a scoring tear, so he's always going to be in that conversation, especially if Houston keeps winning. Luca looks fantastic. Mavericks are looking amazing. And Porzingis, he's kind of had an up and down start to the season. Coming off an ACL injury, he's been out for about 20 months, so he's still trying to figure out his spot and where he, can thrive the most with the new team and new system. Shout out to Melo. Melo, hello, favorite color yellow. Favorite color yellow. He's in Portland. He debuted against Milwaukee, scored about 10 points, I believe. Then he came out and scored 18 in his next following game, and he had 11 last night. Hopefully he's able to stay in the league this time. We don't know what the future holds, but he at least has one more season to play well, and then he's basically auditioning for future years to come, because right now no one's going to give him a contract. But he has until January 7th to make sure that he has a guaranteed spot on the Portland roster, and basically to get the guaranteed money. Otherwise, if they waive him before then, he's done. There's no more second, third, fourth, fifth chance for Melo to come back and play for a team. Back to the MVP conversation. Like Siakam, he was in the top 5 ranking last week, but then the Raptors lost, I believe, like a game or two. So he dropped off, and the Clippers obviously were winning. So Kawhi snuck his way into the conversation. But it really all depends on how many games Kawhi misses for him to actually legitimately be in the conversation for an MVP award. That's basically the only thing missing in his legacy, really. Other than maybe winning a chip with the Lakers, a chip with the Clippers. He's already set, and he's set in NBA history. After LeBron and KD, Kawhi looks like he could be the 3rd or 4th best small forward of all time, really. There could be a debate between him and Scottie, although Scottie has 6 rings. Who would you guys take in their prime? Would you take Kawhi or would you take Scottie on your team? Let me know in the comment section down below. Kyrie Irving, what can we say? He's a spectacular, amazing talent with the best handles of all time, but he's just bipolar, and we got to face the facts. He's an emotional guy. He wears his heart. He wears his emotions on his sleeves. I'm sorry. He wears his heart on his sleeves. And that's just how he is. Him and KD, they're going to have these moments. When KD comes back, they're going to have these arguments with the media, and they're going to look like they're not into it. And a lot of news came out from Brooklyn saying that a lot of people don't like the way he is when he's just all to himself at times. But Brooklyn's also winning without him, and that's kind of scary to see. It's good, but it's like, what is Kyrie bringing to the table if the Brooklyn Nets are able to win games without him and play better without him? Because he's more of an ISO player, and their system revolves around ball movement, and you saw that last year, and you see it this year with how they're playing without him in the lineup. Oh, also shout out to Gordon Hayward. Not shout out. I keep saying shout out. Sorry. Thoughts and prayers to Gordon Hayward as well, because he fractured his wrist, I believe, before Kemba's injury. So those guys are going to take some time to come back, but Boston's still a talented team without them in the lineup, and I'm pretty sure they can hold up and hold it together and win some more games without them there. Uh, let's talk about some of the handles and some of the crossovers that happened this week. There was actually Markel Fultz last night breaking Aaron Holiday's ankles. He basically like wiped him off the floor. If you guys saw the highlight, you'll know what I'm talking about. Donovan Mitchell had a nice crossover on Willie Cauley-Stein, but he kind of pushed off, kind of like what MJ did in the finals. Could have been called an offensive foul, but didn't. And James Harden, damn, that one he had on Patrick Beverley, he looked like he almost made him break his back. It kind of looked like what happened to Draymond when Pascal did that little Euro step in Game 6 to kind of ice the game for us to win the championship. And then you just saw Pat Bev literally hit into PG, and PG almost got hurt. It looked like he got hurt with his leg bending backwards in the wrong way that it shouldn't bend. And Harden had a 4-point play. I don't know what it is. Every time Harden comes back home to LA, he just does something nasty. He got a nasty crossover on Wesley Johnson a few years ago. He got one on Jamal Murray last year. And then he got one now on Patrick Beverley. It seems to be something that's just normal, and it happens year after year. And you could just, it was crazy. It was an amazing scene because you could see him right after the 4-point play. He's just pointing at everyone. And then he goes, wow. He seemed to be amused and amazed by himself. Whew. Who saw Kawhi's dunk, by the way? That's another thing I forgot to mention. Kawhi Leonard's dunk against Boston on Daniel Tice. He baptized that boy. That was just such a filthy dunk. I mean, I know everybody around the world saw that dunk, and Raptors fans were looking at that like, wow. And mentioning dunks right now, I'm going to go back to the Lakers dunk with Danny Green on that putback dunk. They made him take a goddamn drug test after that because they're like, yo, where did this guy get those bunnies from, bro? That was crazy to see. He never did that for us, but it's always fun to see former Raptors thrive in other cities, other teams. And Danny's a genuine good guy. If you guys haven't checked out his podcast, he actually has a podcast called Inside the Green Room, which is where I heard Kendrick Perkins shout out the Raptors, which I mentioned earlier. And Luca looks like a god right now. He had the fastest 30-point triple-double in NBA history. I believe he got in like 25 or 26 minutes. And right now, the Dallas Mavericks GM looks like a god because although Trae Young is doing really well, Luka Doncic is just on another level right now, to be honest. And let's face it, I mean, they got the better end of the stick. They got the better end of the trade. Luka looks like he's going to be a perennial all-star for years to come. And he looks like a future superstar. And the Mavericks always somehow find this European stud, and they make him thrive in their system. And then they pulled a heist on New York and got Porzingis out of there, which is crazy. And that's going to be a crazy dynamic duo to deal with in the future for the next decade. And yeah, he has a nasty step back. Him and Harden have the nastiest step backs in the NBA. What else is there? What else is really popping around the NBA right now? I mean, the Raptors, obviously, we know how good they are. Their defense is the bread and butter, and they're going to have to play defense all the time and stop teams from scoring if they really want to compete in the Eastern Conference. And just overall, if their biggest picture is to get to the finals again, or even the conference finals, they need to trust their defense, because that's what's going to win them games. There'll be nights where they don't make their 3-pointers and they can't score, and they got tenacious defenders everywhere in every position. So hopefully that takes them a long way, and we have another exciting playoff run this upcoming season. But yeah, that's going to do it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this little twist up in my podcast. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel. Show your boy some love. Till then, stay blessed, and we'll be back with another recap when the Philadelphia game's done. Peace!